I wanted you guys to get to know me a little bit before I do my review of Hardcore Justice 2012. I am actually the son of a former independent wrestler here in New York City. He actually, my dad was known as El Leñador, or the Lumberjack. He wrestled for Valentino's Wrestling Club, and they wrestled all up and down the East Coast. And my father was actually also a pro fighter. He wrestled, or he boxed in Gleason's gym, and he fought in Madison Square Garden. He was a contender. And long story short, my father actually instilled the love of wrestling in me. My father passed away about a year ago, and I really miss him a lot. And I do this because I love wrestling so much, and my father actually instilled that love of wrestling. And I kind of wanted to dedicate this pay-per-view review and recap to my father. He was known as the Lumberjack. In Spanish, it was El Leñador. So, quick funny story. I remember my father taking me to my first wrestling show, and it was in the cheap seats, and all they were doing was throwing bottles and cursing and smoking weed. And my father said, he made two promises. He said, I'll never take you to the cheap seats, which he did. And the second one was, wrestling's too expensive, I'm getting you cable. And he did. And I just wanted to thank my father for always being there for my family. And just know that when you hear me talking wrestling, it comes from the heart. I talk with passion because I really love the business. WWE, TNA, ROH, it doesn't really matter. You're listening to somebody who really loves the business. So, guys, I hope you enjoy my pay-per-view review and recap. And I wanted to dedicate this to my father, God rest his soul, Ricardo Brigido Hernandez, a.k.a. El Leñador. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Ray's Wrestling Show. I am the mark of the masses. I am the man with the plan. Big Ray here to stay to talk some TNA today. And today we're going to talk TNA Hardcore Justice 2012. It was a really good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. I would like to know what you guys think. Please leave a comment below. And we're going to get into this really quickly because I don't have a lot of time. The night kicks off with a tag team match. We have Gunner and Cash versus Chavo and Hernandez. Now, really quickly, when I saw Chavo Guerrero come to TNA, I actually saw him as a singles competitor. I thought that he would actually run through the X Division. But now that I see him with Hernandez, I think actually it's a pretty good team. You have the quickness and the smarts, and you have the power and athleticism of Hernandez. Well, anyway, we get into the match, and basically towards the end of the match, we have Chavo Guerrero, who's been taking a beating in the ring for quite some time. He actually tags Hernandez, who actually comes into the ring. He cleans house. Now, Hernandez actually, he was getting double teamed by Gunner and by Kid Cash. He ducks under a double clothesline. He double clotheslines both of them, and then Gunner actually gets tossed out of the ring. Now, while Gunner's outside of the ring, you have Hernandez going into the ropes and jumps over the rope into Gunner, taking Gunner out of the match. Then he jumps onto the apron, slingshots himself onto Kid Cash, knocking Kid Cash basically on his, well, you know. Anyway, so Kid Cash is down. Chavo Guerrero goes up for the frog splash, hits it, 1, 2, 3. We move on. TNA Hardcore Justice starts with a tag team match between Gunner and Cash and Chavo Guerrero Hernandez. Now, I originally thought Chavo Guerrero would come in as an X Division competitor and maybe work with a lot of the young guys, putting some young guys over, or maybe holding the title for some time and making a run with it. But now that I see these two guys together, I think they have actually good chemistry. I think Guerrero obviously is the quick high flyer, and then we have the powerful, athletic Hernandez, and I think they really mesh well together. I like the tag team. I would like to know what you guys think. Leave a comment below if you don't mind. And we join the match, and basically we have Chavo Guerrero, who's been in the ring for some time, and he really needs to tag, and he finally gets Hernandez. Hernandez comes in like a house of fire. He's basically cleaning house with Gunner and with Cash, and they try to double team him, but he ends up hitting him with a double team clothesline. Gunner actually falls outside the ring, and then Hernandez actually thrusts himself outside the ring onto Gunner, taking Gunner out of the match. Then he gets back up on the apron and slingshots himself back onto Cash, knocking Cash down. And obviously Guerrero goes up for the frog splash, and they actually win the match 1, 2, 3. I think it was a pretty good match to start off Hardcore Justice. I would like to know what you guys think. We move on. So now we find ourselves in the Falls Count Anywhere Bound for Glory series fatal four-way match between Rob Van Dam, Mr. Anderson, Magnus, and the Pope. Well, RVD comes down to the ring, and then we hear the Pope's music. And the Pope doesn't come down. Then we hear it again. And the Pope doesn't come down. We go backstage, and we see that Aces of Eights got a hold of the Pope, and they pummel the Pope. The Pope cannot fight tonight. So it is a three-way. We move on to the match. Now we have the TNA Television Championship match between Kazarian and Devon. Now, I'm going to make a quick comment. I would like to know what you guys think about this. I think that the TV title should be somewhat like the Intercontinental title back in the day. I think they should put it on younger talent, maybe to kind of bring them up, give them some championship exposure. Devon Dudley is great. I want to see him put over some young opponents. But anyway, let's jump into the match. I want to know what you guys think. Please leave a comment below. Anyway, so we have Devon basically going back and forth with Kazarian the whole match. It was actually a pretty solid match, a little shorter than I thought it would be, but basically Devon hits the neck breaker from the corner, and there was a pin attempt, but Kaz basically counters, and from there he basically kicks out. Kaz goes for the fade to black, but Devon actually ends up blocking it. Devon hits him with a slam, and he pins Kazarian for the 1-2-3 win. Now, who do you think Devon will, do you think this is going to be a continuous feud, or do you think Devon's going to move on? Who do you think should be the next television champion? I would like to hear from you guys. We move on to the next match. Now we have the match for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. We have the contender, Madison Rayne, who's actually been, let's just say, persuading Earl Hebner to be on her side. Poor Earl. Anyway, so, and she's fighting Tessmacher, who is the women's knockouts champion. Anyway, so we get into the match, and basically Tessmacher is pretty much in control at this time, and Madison Rayne basically rakes her eyes, and Earl Hebner does nothing, and basically Tessmacher comes and she actually ends up slamming Rayne down to the mat head first by grabbing her hair. Now Tessmacher's really upset because, you know, she's getting her eyes raked out. You know, you have Earl Hebner, who's basically not doing anything during the match, and while she's arguing with Earl Hebner, she gets rolled up. Now, I don't know if it's just me. I'm pretty sure Earl Hebner noticed Madison Rayne's holding the ropes to get some leverage on the pin, but that's the way the ball bounces. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We have a new Knockouts champion. It is Madison Rayne. We move on. So now we see JB backstage interviewing Bully Ray. And make a long story short, Bully Ray basically said when he woke up in the morning, he found the dead man's hand, the Aces of Eights, laying on his truck. Now we all know, actually, not just me and you, but we all know that last week on Impact, the Aces of Eights said that Bully Ray was the next target. Well, Bully Ray wasn't backing down. He actually started talking trash. He said if they want to find him, ain't going to be too hard to find. He's going to be in the ring earning 20 points, and he will be the next TNA champion. We move on to the match, and we see Bully Ray versus Robbie E versus Jeff Hardy and James Storm, which was a really, really good match, a lot of hard-hitting action. And we're going to join the match where we see Bully Ray basically in control of the match. Now, Bully Ray is being distracted because Aces of Eights are ringside. They are there, and they are distracting Bully Ray. Well, Bully Ray gets a super kick to the face. And when that happens, guess what happens? Yes, the Aces of Eights give James Storm the thumbs up, and James Storm has this look on his face, but Jeff Hardy sees this. He doesn't know what's going on. I'm not sure if James Storm is involved with the Aces of Eights. I really think they're framing. I would like to know what you guys think. Please leave a comment below. But, you know, Jeff Hardy sees this. He attacks James Storm. Now, while this is all happening, Jeff Hardy sets up a table, and they start going back and forth. And Jeff Hardy actually ends up hitting him with the Twist of Fate. Now, while this happens, the Aces of Eights come back in the ring, and they start distracting Storm. And James Storm hits him, boom, with the last call. Jeff Hardy is down. Now, before James Storm can actually pin this guy, Bully Ray comes in the ring, smart as he can be, and he tosses the Cowboy outside the ring, and he gets the pin. He does get the 20 points, and Aces of Eights leave the ring. We go on to the next match. So we move on to the TNA X Division Championship match, and we have Zema Ion versus Kenny King. Now, I've been following Kenny King for a long time on ROH. I've been actually following him when he used to be in the WWE, when he was doing the Tough Enough. But this could have been one of the best matches of the night, and there was a lot of high flying action, a lot of bumps. I mean, there was a moonsault that Zema Ion did, where Kenny King basically stuck up his knee and took a really big bump. There was a King at one point did a sweet spinning kick. He missed that. Ion actually gave him this awesome face buster during the match. Now, the match was really good. I really enjoyed the match, but towards the end of the match, King was actually charging into Ion in the corner, and it was like this weird, awkward reversal that Ion got him with the pin, and I was a little disappointed with how the match ended. I thought they actually wrestled a great match. I just thought that it was a little awkward the way it ended. Now, I'm actually kind of happy that they didn't give Kenny King the title right away. I like the way they're kind of building him up, and I see Kenny King. I think Kenny King has everything. I think he has the look. He can talk on the mic. I think Kenny King is probably one of the best in-ring performers in any organization. He is fantastic. I would like to see where they go with Kenny King. I would like to know what you guys think. Who do you think is going to be the X Division champion? Is it going to be Kenny King? Do you think Zema Ion is going to hold on to that title? Anyway, we have a lot more to talk about. Let's move on. So now we're at the 20 Points Bound for Glory Series ladder match with AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Kurt Angle, and Samoa Joe. This was a really good match with a lot of great bumps. They really used the ladder well during the match. We're going to actually, when the match actually started, you could feel the tension cut with a knife. And then AJ Styles just goes after Daniels. It was a really, really, really good match. I was really into this match. I really marked out for this match. We're going to join the match basically where we have Angle and we have Joe basically trying to one-up each other, beating the hell out of Daniels. I mean, they're suplexing the living crap out of this poor guy. And then we have Kurt Angle who sets up the ladder, and they actually tangle Daniels up in the ladder, and they start kicking the living, well, you know, out of him. So basically, while this is all happening, okay, Joe and Angle start going at each other. Now, Joe gets the better of him, but out of nowhere, AJ Styles had been hurt. He had been thrown over the top rope outside the ring. Out of the freaking blue, this kid springboards from outside the ring onto the freaking ladder, jumps up and grabs the freaking contract or the paper that basically signifies the 20 points. AJ Styles actually wins this match, and he gets 20 points. Is AJ Styles going to have another run at the TNA World Championship? I would like to know what you think. There are a lot of questions to be answered for the Bound for Glory series, but we move on. So now, before the main event, we see JB backstage with Bobby Roode. And he's being interviewed by JB, and a fan actually gets in his face. And Bobby Roode basically goes back and forth with the fan, and the fan basically says that he's scared of Austin Aries. And Bobby Roode basically starts putting himself over, and he says, you know, basically that he carried the company for an entire year, and that he's not scared of Austin Aries. And he reminded us that he feels that Austin Aries' win was a fluke. Well, we're going to find out if it's a fluke. We go on to the main event. So now we have the main event of the evening for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship between Austin Aries and Bobby Roode. And the match started with heat. Bobby Roode is talking a lot of smack. Austin Aries basically shrugs his shoulder and spits water in his face. We find these guys in the corner, and Bobby Roode is trying to give Austin Aries a superplex off the top rope. Well, Austin Aries basically chops him, stops him, and drops him to the mat. He goes to the top rope, performs a 450 splash, but gets the gut to the stomach. So when Austin Aries finally gets up, Bobby Roode attempts a spear. Austin Aries moves out of the way, and Bobby Roode actually hits the referee. The referee is down and out. So when Austin Aries is being distracted, then Bobby Roode gets up, and then he finally hits him with the spear. He covers him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No referee. Finally, a referee comes to the ring. 1, 2. Aries kicks out. So then from this point, we have Bobby Roode trying the Fisherman Buster. And that gets blocked. Austin Aries tries the Brain Buster, but guess what? They get thrown into the referee again. So the second referee is down. So now we have 2 referees down, and Austin Aries ends up actually hitting Bobby Roode with a kick, and he finally gets the Brain Buster. So at this point, I'm thinking the match is over. The other referee's getting up. He's reviving, and I thought the match was over. 1, 2. Freaking Bobby Roode kicks out. I really couldn't believe it at this point. So Aries and Bobby Roode on the top rope again, and Bobby Roode is successful with the superplex. But then both legs are hooked, both shoulders are down, both referees count 3. You see Bobby Roode actually, Bobby Roode gets his hand raised first. So I think the pay-per-view's over. I think there's gonna be some type of controversy. But no, then Austin Aries' hand is raised. So what the hell's going to happen? Bobby Roode, while the referees are arguing, the referees starts arguing with each other. Bobby Roode takes the title, and he starts to walk outside the ring. But no, senior official Earl Hebner actually comes, snatches the belt, and starts having a discussion with the referees to make a decision. So Earl Hebner finally makes the decision to have the original ref continue the match. And Bobby Roode wants no part of this. Now remember, Bobby Roode is holding on to that championship belt when Austin Aries dives out of the ring, and he actually goes headfirst into the title. Well, then Bobby Roode actually drags Austin Aries' lifeless body into the ring. I thought the match was actually over. I thought Bobby Roode would get over on him. But out of the freaking blue, Austin Aries rolls him up for the 1, 2, 3. Austin Aries retains the title. What's going to happen? So now there's no feud. Bobby Roode doesn't get a rematch. Who do you think is going to be the next person to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship? I actually like to see Austin Aries turn heel again. I think he's a fantastic heel. Guys, everything's opinion based. This show is all opinion based. I really love doing this, ladies and gentlemen. You can catch me here at OneWrestling.com or YouTube /OneWrestlingVideo. I always say this, and I mean this from my heart. I would do this for a living, but if I can't, I would do it anyway because I love talking